morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. In today's episode, we're going to do one thing and one thing only, and we're going to go through this Call of Cthulhu starter set, which I have had for probably 2 years, and cracked open once when I first got it, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. I believe there is a solo adventure in here. I have, right before recording, I flipped through everything and just was like, yeah, okay, it seems like everything's in there. So, I know there are multiple adventures. I won't read these, but again, I'm hoping one of them is a solo play. And so, if you've listened to any of my previous episodes where I've talked about solo role-playing games, it's something I know absolutely nothing about. And I'm hoping through experience I can find one that I really like. Some journaling ones have been interesting. Trying to think. Cartographer is probably up there in one of my favorites so far. It's not a traditional role-playing game. It's a map-making game, and you can kind of set conflicts that are going on in the world. But I've yet to find one that I would really want to go, like, I'm excited to go back to over and over again. If you have watched my cartographer one, I said, yeah, I'm excited to come back. And it's been quite a while, and I have not gone back to it. So, all right, Call of Cthulhu starter set. Again, I bought this about 2 years ago, 2022, maybe 2021, and it's been sitting on my shelf. I think they have a newer version. I don't know if it's just a change in the box or what, but I know there's another one where the art is different. It's kind of, I think it has more so this art. I think this art is from the player's book, which is not called the player's book, I think. But I should also mention I know very, very little about Call of Cthulhu, so I am taking them at their word that this, starter adventure, solo adventure is for learning the system. And so far, my luck with Chaosium has been not great, and it's nothing against the quality of their products, but mostly RuneScape, RuneQuest. I always get those wrong. Let me act really dumb here. RuneQuest. I always say RuneScape, but I mean RuneQuest. And so that's my biggest experience, that and Mythros, which are like the same thing. So we'll see if the Call of Cthulhu take on the D100 system is where I want to be. In the future, I think I do want to purchase the basic roleplay system toolkit book they have. I've looked at the starter book they have, or beginner's book, but there's no magic in there, I believe. So, yeah, that's a conversation for another day. So let's get into it. I've already talked more than I should. Call of Cthulhu starter set. What's in this box? Read me first. Oh, man, there's a lot of words here. Book 1. You'll take part in a starter solo adventure called Alone Against the Flames, in which your character alone must navigate through a strange mystery. As you play through this solo adventure, you will be guided through creating an investigator character. Use one of the blank investigator sheets for this, or you can use any of the ready-made investigators also in this box. The choice is yours. Okay, well, for the sake of time and my sanity, I will just use the ones that they give me. What's in the box? Yeah. Book 1, Alone Against the Flames. The quality of this book is top-notch. I forget what I paid for this. Probably $25. It's on Amazon. You can go check it out. But I will say worth every penny. I just recently bought Pathfinder 2nd edition revised beginner box. That's a mouthful. And that was $40. I bought it at my friendly local game store, Game Universe, for $35. And that was worth it as well. I would like to have seen that at $30, but that's okay. It came with a bunch of stuff, but we'll get into that for another day. So lots of player handouts, lots of maps. I don't know what I'm going to need if they're for the solo adventure. Pre-made character sheets. We've got 1, 2, 3. Ooh, this guy looks like Indiana Jones. 4, and then a bunch of blank ones. So we'll leave the blank ones off to the side. And this nice set of dice, which of course I have my own, but for flavor reasons, let's use the ones that they gave me. Which I will say is, they're pretty standard, nothing crazy. Got a little light heft to them, but if I can, it will get blurry. But the numbers are nice and big, and I do appreciate that. If you're new to role-playing games, this is I've never owned bad dice, but this is totally serviceable dice. And maybe I'll use this box for it, but I also want to shout out this little guy. I bought a bunch more just the other day from Dollar Tree. These are $1.25. See, labeled my Dungeons and Dragons Club. And this is a perfect sized dice box because the students in my group, they'd like to just drop them on the floor. And so they've got rubber feet, so they don't slide very easily. Very hard rubber, but a rubber floor, so it doesn't cause it to roll crazy. And rarely, if ever, do I get cocked dice in the sides. So bang for your buck, Dollar Tree dice trays. If you're looking for extras just for players, this cannot be beat. $1.25. Okay, so this is just me playing book 1, Alone Against the Flames. My goal is to keep this as centered as I can in the camera, and I know that my table here has these 2 glaring lights, so we're going to just deal with it. All right, this book 1, 55 pages. Let's see how entertaining this is for you to watch and listen to while I play and read. What this set contains, overview of the game, winners and losers, example of play, role-playing dice, next steps. Now that you understand the basic premise of Call of Cthulhu, you can take on your first adventure Alone Against the Flames. A horror story set in the 1920s, where you are the main character, and your choices... Oh, I already failed. It's not centered here. Okay, great. Where your choices determine the outcome. It is designed to lead you through the basic rules of the game in a gradual and entertaining fashion. Although most such adventures are played with your friends, this one is just for you. Don't worry that there may still be things you don't fully understand yet. The rules are explained as you play throughout the game. You'll even be shown how to create your own investigator. We'll see if that takes 3 hours. Rune Quest. Before you begin play, make sure you have book 2 nearby. Oh, okay. Got it. Book 2. Introductory rules. Before you start playing, you will also require one of the blank investigator sheets from the box. You'll also need a pencil and some notepaper. Okay, let me grab a blank one. And I have a pencil over here. Okay. Let's see. Read on and follow the instructions. It's going to be tough for me. Starting with section 1. Once you have completed the adventure, perhaps surviving or not, you can then read book 2. But before then, settle in a comfortable chair and prepare to be alone against the flames. The art on this is awesome. Kind of looks like an adult Daniel Radcliffe, but then this little wolf creature on top of this crypt. That's pretty sweet. Definitely sets the tone. All right. Alone Against the Flames, a solo introductory adventure. The sun is high in the sky, a merciless ball of heat. You feel scorched by the time you reach the bus halt in front of Osborne's drugstore. It's a relief to put down your heavy cases and take off your hat for a moment. You fan your face. It has been a long summer here in your hometown, and yet a curiously empty one. You look across the street at Grubby's butcher shop, the grocers with its faded awning, and the shabby tobacconist. Mistrustful faces glare at you as they pass by, eyeing your clothes and luggage. It was your parents' choice to live here, not yours. You were happy down south as a child, among Providence's white-walled houses and leafy churchyards. Perhaps this new job in Arkham will supply the change you need. Yet everybody you know in the world lives here. You know nobody in Arkham, not one soul. You ask yourself one last time if you are doing the right thing. The answer is here. None of your supposed friends have come to see you off. You are alone. Whatever challenges lie in Arkham, it will be a new life and a brave one. A small gray motor coach approaches and rattles to a stop. You put on your hat and pick up one of your cases. Okay. Then says, go to 263. Well, what does that mean? Okay, I think these paragraphs are numbered, so it's probably hard to see on the camera. But we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I imagine, okay, yeah, 195. Ooh, be careful, I don't want to get spoiled when you look through here. Go to 263. What is this, the last one? Almost. Okay. 263. Two young men with sullen expressions alight from the coach. One looks up. Oh man, words are hard. One looks you up and down before heading away. The driver also steps down, glancing at you before crossing the road to visit the tobacconist. When he returns, he is rolling a cigarette between his yellowed fingers. He gives it a final twist and examines you as he reaches for his matchbox. He is a thin man in his 50s, dressed in a stained shirt with the bus company emblem. Yet his eyes are sharp in their dark sockets. Where to? You show him your ticket for Ossipee. From there you will connect to Rochester and Portsmouth, before the coastal line to Newburyport and finally Arkham. You should be able to afford a rail ticket for at least some of the way. Otherwise, this will be the first of many long bus trips. The driver scratches the match and lights his cigarette. The end flares as he takes a draw. Then he exhales and gestures to the back of the coach. Luggage racks up there. Look at your investigator sheet. At the top, you have spaces for 8 characteristics. Strength, constitution, power, dexterity, appearance, size, intelligence, and education. Allocate the following values among them, writing them in the large square beside each. 40, 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 80. If you would like more information about what these characteristics mean, read page 7 of book 2. When you have done that, go to 8. Okay. So my stats right here: strength, constitution, size, dexterity, appearance, education, intelligence, and education. So what do I want my character to be? I don't care about strength, so I'm going to say 40. I'll say my size is 50. Pretty meager. I want to be really handsome, though. I don't know if that's what appearance means, but I'm going to say I'm 80 on appearance. Okay. POW. I forget what POW means, but that's okay. I'm going to put the second lowest I can, 50. I need 1, 2, 3 50s. Let's go 50 for Constitution. I'm not very strong or tough, but I'm relatively smart and handsome. So let's say Dexterity is 60. And I feel like I already screwed up. Okay, 80. I want Education is 70. And then 2 60s. Okay. All right. Do I know what all those mean? No. Do I want to take the time to figure it out? No. Okay. Go to 8. I don't know why I couldn't just, go from 1 to 2 to 3, but maybe they mix it around for the spoiler aspects and different art and things like that. Okay. Again, probably impossible to read through the camera, but it's for me. You're listening to the sultry voice of Heath fighting through a cold, being extra nasally. Here we go. 8. The driver smokes and watches as you drag your cases to the back of the motor coach. The rack is set inconveniently high on the vehicle. You get a grip on the heavier case. If your size is 40, go to 23. If your size is higher than this, go to 38. Where's my size? Strength con. Oh, yeah, size is 50. Okay, you can't be below 40. Let me go back. Oh, geez. Wait, would it be below 40? If your size is 40. Okay, let me go. Go to 263. There's no way. 50 was the lowest, I thought. Oh, 40 was strength. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody. If your size is 40, go to 23. If your size is higher than this, which mine is 50. Okay, I'm going to shift things over here. Going to move my mic a little bit. Now you got a nice shadow in the way. Okay, perfect. Okay, so go to 38. I like this format. This is probably like kind of what I've been wanting. A very like choose your own adventure. If this, then that. I don't know what's going to happen next. So we're off to a good start. I like this format. 38 says, the driver continues to enjoy his cigarette, watching with keen interest as you struggle with the cases. You grit your teeth and heave the second one into place. Perhaps the residents of Arkham will have better manners. Go to page 233. 233. Oh, okay, great. We've got nice Two-Face art here. The driver flicks his cigarette into the gutter and steps into the motor coach. Its engine coughs into life. You board, grateful that you will be the only passenger for the initial part of your trip at least. With mixed emotions, you watch from the window as the tired avenues of your old home slip behind you, receding into the distance. For a few minutes, you can still see the church spire over the brow of a low hill. Then the road dips, and it too is gone. Arkham is your new home. You will travel there and make a new start. You will see 2 smaller boxes to the right of each characteristic value. Have each value rounding down and write the result in the upper right box. Okay. Also divide each value by 5, again rounding down, and write that result in the lower box. Okay. Have each value rounding down and write the result in the upper right box. Okay, so half of 40 is 20. Half of 50 is 25. And it says round down, so 20. 60 would be 30. 80 would be 40. 70 would be 30. 60 would be 30. 50 would be 20. All right. And then divide each value by 5 for the bottom number. 40 would be 8. 10. 10. 6. 16. Oh my god. 70 divided by 5. 10, 15. I can't be right. 50, 25, 14. Math. Oh my god, that's embarrassing, everybody. 60 is 12. How did I get a 6 here? Okay, 12. 10. Okay, that was embarrassing. Well, now you know how smart I am. I'm not. Okay. What do we got here? Again, rounding down and write the results in the lower right box. We will use these numbers later. If you are using the interactive PDF version of the investigator sheet, you'll see it does all the math for you. Well, you see, there you go. That's what I should be using. I didn't know that this came with that. In the strip below, you will see tracks that record sanity and magic points. Sanity and magic points. Okay, yep, sure. Sanity, beginning sanity is equal to your original POW. Okay, 50. So, what does it say here? Beginning sanity is equal to your original POW, and beginning magic points are the same as the value you've just assigned for POW divided by 5. Mark these on the tracks. Okay, so 50. I have 50 sanity. And then divided by 5 was 10. So I have 10 magic points. Okay. Mark these on the tracks. Then go to 134. All right. It's embarrassing, that math. I like to think you pressured me. You put me on the spot. All right. 134. The coach putters through the countryside. At first, the interior is stifling and your stomach lurches with every bend in the road. However, the driver opens his window, and by switching seats, you find a spot where the breeze hits your face. You soon relax into the journey, observing the quaint little hamlets that the coach serves. A heavy-set woman boards at one settlement and gives you a polite nod. She gets off at the next one. The road rises a little, passing cornfields and orchards. The leaves are turning and the trees are alive with glorious reds and golds. You have just begun to doze when the driver takes a tight bend at speed. Add size and con together, then divide the total by 10, rounding down. Size and con, 100 divided by 10 is 10. I can do that math. This is the starting value for your hit points. Mark it on your investigator's sheet. Hit points. 10. Your current total may drop, but it is unlikely to exceed the starting value. You also have a luck score. Roll 3 six-sided dice. We call this 3d6. Multiply your 3d6 roll results by 5 to get your beginning luck score and mark it on your investigator sheet. All right, roll this guy 3 times. Great. 1, 4, so we're 5. And a 1. Okay, 7 times 5 is 35. Awesome. 35 is our luck score. And luck goes 35. All right. Now you must make a roll against your dex. Roll 1 d100. Let's get all the dice in here. And let's see. What's an easy way? These are both 10s. So blue will be my 10s. Let's read this. This means rolling 2 10-sided dice and using 1 value for the 10s and 1 value for the units. Unless one die is clearly a 10s, see role-playing dice page 4 for further details. Okay, so my dexterity is 60. And blue is 10s. So 55. So I rolled under. If you rolled equal to your dex or less, you passed the roll. You may be I'll read the whole thing. If you rolled greater than your dex, you failed the roll. You may be tempted to skip such rolls and simply pretend you always pass. But Call of Cthulhu is a game of mystery and horror. The terrible disasters that can befall your character are part of the fun. You will not necessarily have more fun if you pass every roll than you would have if you failed. If you passed the dex roll, go to 261, which I did. Okay. Yes, I do like this choose your own adventure, and I do like that with different characters and different stats, you could do this a couple different times. So 261. A desperate yell awakens you. You feel yourself slide from the seat as the driver spins the wheel and the motor coach plunges off the road. You grab hold of the seat in front just in time to prevent a painful fall. The coach stops with a thump. Now you see what has happened. A Fordson tractor has stopped in the road and your driver has had to swerve to avoid the steel obstacle. He leaps from his seat into the road, unleashing a string of curses at the farmer. You take a moment to catch your breath. Perhaps you should offer assistance, but the driver has already returned. He backs the coach up a little and threads it around the tractor, glaring at the farmer. Okay. Go to 71. You resume your journey. The driver takes the curves with more caution than before. He glances over his shoulder at you a couple times. Sorry about before, he says. That fellow was dumber than a hog. I'm Silas. What's your name? The accident was at least as much Silas's fault as the farmer's, but it doesn't seem shrewd to antagonize the man while he is driving you through the middle of nowhere. Make up a name for your character and record it on your investigator sheet. You may add your age. For the purpose of this adventure, your character should probably be aged between 23 and 36. Well, I am not very strong, but I am smart, so I'm going to say I'm well past college age. I'll say I'm 33. No, I like the upper end. We'll say 36. So we'll go. Age is 36, and my name, real plain, is Daniel. Daniel Dykes, because I like alliterations. The coach turns onto a narrow road, which weaves uphill through woodland. Silas becomes chatty. Going to Arkham, eh? Can't say I ever heard of the place. Went to Boston once. Didn't like it. Too much hustle and bustle. You got family there? A special someone waiting? The afternoon is wearing on. You see no harm in confiding in Silas about your new life. A job, eh? What's your line? Choose an occupation for your character from the following options. If you are an antiquarian, 102, doctor of medicine, a journalist, a private investigator, or a professor. Well, I'm smart, so I think professor's what I want. 265. Near the back. 265. You explain you are joining the faculty at the renowned Miskatonic University. It's only a junior position with teaching and tutoring duties, but the institution is well regarded. Who knows where the appointment might lead? A symposium, a visiting lectureship, even one of its world-spanning expeditions. Silas wrinkles his nose. I had enough of book learning when I was a youngin'. Still, I suppose it's well enough for those who like it. Your credit rating is 30%. Your occupation skills are library use, other language, specify one, own language, and psychology. You may also pick 4 other skills, not Cthulhu mythos, as relevant academic personal specialties. Allocate the following values among these occupation skills, writing them in the large square beside each. 70, 60, 60, 50, 50, 50, 40, 40. Ignore any starting value already mentioned on the investigator sheet. All right, well, that was a lot, so best of luck. My credit rating skill is 30. Where does that go? Wound, insane, sanity, magic points, luck, hit points. Is it alphabetical? Credit rating, 30%. Okay. I don't know what credit does. Your occupation skills are library use, psychology, other language. Okay, hang on. Let me count these. Library use, other language, own language, and psychology. That's 4. You may pick 4 other skills. So that's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 4 other skills, non-Cthulhu mythos. Okay. So, do I get a bonus to these if... Well, I guess I don't want to make assumptions. Okay. Library, own language, and psychology. I'll say psychology. Well, let me look at all these. I don't even know. Accounting, anthropology, appraise, archaeology, arts and craft, charm, climb, disguise, dodge, drive, electric repair, fast talk, fighting and brawling, firearms, first aid, history, intimidate, jump, languages, law, library use, listen, locksmith, mechanical repair, medicine, natural world, navigate, occult, no idea, operating heavy machine, persuade, pilot, psychology, psychoanalysis, ride, science, sleight of hand, spot hidden, stealth, survival, swim, throw, and track. Okay. I like that it does not say, like, what do these mean? Go, introductory rules. What are detailed descriptions of all these stats? Okay, well, I'm going to go just very random. I was on the swim team, so I'm a really good swimmer. That's my 70. Because I'm good looking, I'm also charming. So I'm going to go 60 for charm. Let's pick a psychoanalysis. There we go. That's the word. And psychology. Like, what's the difference between those? Yeah, I'll pick library really high. So we'll go 60 for library. Then I have 50, 50, 50, 40, 40. Sure, I was a history professor, so but because I in this small town, I may be good at the library researching, but when it comes to actually applying my knowledge, maybe not the best. So we'll say 50. Language, sure, 50. I took French to impress a girl. Perfect. 50-50. Natural world, sure, we'll say 50. And then I minored in science. We'll say biology. So I'll take a 40 there. Let's see, do I have to take psychology? Because it says that it's my occupation one. So we'll say sure. It was a class I had to take, but I didn't really like it. So let's see, do I have 8? Probably not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Great. 50, 50, 50. 40, 40. Oh, and credit rating. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, then go to 128. You realize Silas hasn't made a stop since the incident with the tractor. The motor coach winds its way uphill. However, your thoughts are interrupted as the road crests a ridge and you are treated to a magnificent view of the vista below. A creek snakes through the valley, breaking the rich autumn palette of the tree line. In the distance, the white mountains rise into hazy cloud. There is no settlement, not even a cabin, as far as the eye can see. Birds drift through the treetops, and you can just make out what might be 2 white-tailed deer lingering by the water. Perhaps you are making a mistake by moving to the city. Could you survive on your own in this lush wilderness? You have a base ability in most skills listed in brackets after the skill name on the investigator sheet. For instance, you have 20% in climb. Yep. And a base dodge equal to half your dex. Yep. Choose 4 skills which are not your occupation skills nor Cthulhu mythos. These are your personal interests. Boost each of these by 20. Okay. That's not. Choose 4 skills, which are not your occupation skills. These are your personal interest skills. Boost each of these by 20. At this point, you may like to calculate half and 1/5 values for each skill in just the same way you did for your characteristics. Remember to round down. If you are bored of calculations, you can leave the math until it becomes necessary, or if you are using the interactive PDF version, it is done for you. I love that. Okay, like I've proven that I'm dumb. Okay, fact, it's proven. But it even says in here, like, hey, we got a lot of math. And by this point, if it's too much for you, why don't you just skip it for now? Like, come on. Then the rule system needs to change here. You know you're too math heavy. Okay. Well, choose 4 skills, which are not my occupation skills, and boost those. Well, I'm going to be so charming. We're going to go 80. That's 1. Let's go swim. I'm an expert swimmer. I'm going to go 90. I really want to know if I'm like ever going to use that. Okay, that's 2. Should I be good with a gun? In my backstory, maybe I went hunting with Grandpa. But is that a personal interest? No, probably not. You know, I like to drive. Driving's fun. So we'll go 40 for driving. And let's go natural world. I like to be out in nature. That's a personal interest of mine. And as I'm observing the nature on this trip, I think that makes sense. Okay, so go to 144. The motor coach rattles on through the hills, and Silas lapses into silence. The sky darkens behind you, pinks tinting the clouds as the sun descends. Finally, a welcome sight comes into view, a settlement on the crest of a hill. This doesn't look like the pictures you've seen on Ossipee, but perhaps you can persuade Silas to stop while you stretch your legs. Minutes later, a harsh stuttering from the engine interrupts your reverie. Silas frowns and rattles the gear stick. The motor coach falters in its ascent. Silas utters a curse you don't recognize and grinds his teeth, struggling at the wheel. You seem to inch up the hill until you reach the first buildings, low dwellings constructed from a rough red stone. Silas wrestles the coach into a small bay off the road. He scrambles from his seat and makes for the engine compartment. You must now choose to make a roll against drive, auto, or psychology. If you choose drive auto, you need to roll equal to or less than the skill value. If you choose psychology, you need a hard success. This is a roll equal to or less than half the skill value, the number in the upper right box. You may attempt only one skill roll. Okay, drive auto is 40. Psychology is 40, half of 20. So I guess this is why I love percentile-based systems. Obviously, you know, if you were playing D&D and you said, you know, you can do this at a DC of 12 and this at a DC of 15, well, you know, 15 is harder. But if you're comparing it to skills, what's your plus bonus? What's the here? You just know, like right away. Do I roll against 40 or do I roll against 20? So clearly, I'm going to roll against 40 for drive auto. With a 74, I fail. Okay. If you roll a success on drive auto, go to 174. If you roll a hard success, psychology, roll against... Okay, hang on. Drive was auto, 40, 70, fail. So if you fail your roll, go to 194. Okay. Oh, there we go. Perfect. 194. Silas opens the engine compartment... opens the engine compartment open and sticks his head inside. The hot metal pops and sizzles. He pokes at various components, then withdraws and wipes his brow, smearing it with dark grease. I ain't sure what's wrong. Might be the oil pressure. Might be something knocked off kilter when we took that spill. Can't do much until the engine cools down neither. And with the light failing, I reckon we'll be here through the night. He wipes his hand on a rag. The shadows from your surroundings are already long, and the air is chilly. You feel stiff from the journey, and a night in the rickety coach sounds unappealing. Silas sees your dismay. This here's Emberhead. Miles from any place. I only come through twice a week, but the folks here are good people. May Ledbetter keeps a spare room. She'll look after you. Up that alley, turn right, first house on the left. He scratches his cheek, looks again into the engine compartment, and spits on the ground. Meet me back here at 8 in the morning, and we'll see how's we stand. To look for May Ledbetter's house, go to 267. To ask Silas where he will spend the night, go to 251. To challenge Silas about the breakdown, go to 257. Let's see. It's getting dark. I don't know where I am. I don't really know Silas all that well. So I'll go to 257 to challenge Silas. You confront Silas with your suspicions. His brow darkens and he shows a mouthful of twisted teeth. Ain't that just like you city types, he spits, thinking the worst of a man after he's gone out his way to attend to your comfort. He stalks around to the back of the coach and hauls your bags from the rack, dumping them on the ground at your feet. Take them, otherwise I guess you'll be accusing me of thievery in the morning. He marches off into the darkness, raging. That could have gone better. Well, I wasn't accusing him. I guess I was. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, 267. You drag your cases between the sullen buildings. You feel surprisingly weary, considering you have spent all day sitting down. Silas's directions led you to a modest dwelling with a slate roof. A nameplate reads Ledbetter, and underneath a sign in a neat copper plate reads Lodging Room. The lane around you is gloomy, but a lamp flickers in the window. A breeze chills your face. You're not about to begin your new life by sleeping in the street. You rap on the weather-beaten door. Go to 4. All right. 4. The structuring of these paragraphs is very interesting to me. All right. After a moment, you hear footsteps inside the house. A bolt is drawn back and the wooden door swings open. A figure with loose curls and a rough-looking house dress peers at you. Her gaze takes in your traveling suit and your cases. Her voice has a slight Irish lilt. Hello, should I take it as you're looking for a room for the night? You inquire as to her rates, suppressing a grimace. As far as you've seen, the village does not offer you many alternatives. Oh, you will find them very reasonable, she says. You look tired. I'm May. Come inside and we'll talk over a cup of tea. The Ledbetter house feels cramped, with a low ceiling and simple fittings, but it is well kept and a cheerful fire crackles in the grate. The aroma of tea is soothing and the cup warms your fingers. Have you come to Emberhead for the festival? Asks May. 2 options. To explain what happened with Silas and the coach, go to 14. To ask about the festival, go to 21. Well, no, I'm not here for the festival, so we'll go to 14. May shakes her head, and you glimpse a moment of deep-seated anger in her green eyes. He always drives too fast. Thinks the road is made for him and him alone. He hit a mare some years back. That was a terrible thing. You should have seen the state of the coach. You'd be surprised at the damage done. She sips her tea and gazes past you, into the corner of the room. With living here, though, we can't afford to antagonize the man. He's about the only link we have to the world at large, and he's not a bad soul at heart. I suppose that going the same route for 15 years makes a man careless. You have to forgive him. May goes silent for a long moment. Then her eyes flick back to you. But you didn't come here to listen to me blather, and you must be hungry. I can rustle you up a bit of stew. How would that be? You ask again about her rates, and May names a price so low you accept it without hesitation. The room is small but comfortable, and the stew dark and hearty. After dinner, you have a couple of hours before your usual bedtime. I can talk to May some more. I can walk around outside and get your bearings, or I can turn in for an early night. Drink my water. You know what? What would my character do? You know, I don't know how much further it is to Arkham, but I don't want to get too raunchy here, but I'm good looking. Wonder what May's doing for the night. So let's go to 31. 31. May talks about life in Emberhead. In her letters, my sister always asks if I'm not bored living in such a small place. She lives in New York. Then she writes about how frightened she is to walk home at night, I ask you. You mention your hopes for a new life in Arkham. May doesn't seem to hear you. It's a small place here, yes, but that means we have real community. Everybody's face is known. Everybody works together. Nobody is excluded except those who choose to exclude themselves, of course. I couldn't live anywhere else now. Make a charm roll. If you succeed, go to 39. Okay, where's my charm? Charm is 80, baby. All right, here we go. 56. Easy pass. Go to 39. Okay, right here. As the hour wears on, May's upbeat manner descends into something more reflective. It's not always easy. I'm a widow, you know. We have a little money, and of course I appreciate the custom of travelers like yourself. I know we'll never starve as long as we live here, but I don't see myself marrying again. I know every man in this village. I know them too well, if you see what I mean. Her mouth twists briefly, then she yawns and pushes a hand through her hair. Time for me to turn in. When would you like breakfast? On your investigator sheet, checkmark the small box to the left of the word charm. Charm. Checked. If you successfully complete this adventure, you will have the opportunity to learn from your experience with May. If you successfully complete this adventure, you will have the opportunity to learn from your experience with May. Okay. Maybe because I passed that check, the skill goes up. That's pretty cool. I like that. Now go to 63. As May stands, you hear a clunk behind you. You look over your shoulders, but all you can see is a wooden door securely closed. May tuts. I've never heard that word. Toots? Toots? Tuts. I'm going to look that up. Tuts. Is it like a huh? Tuts. Toots? Internet. An interjection or noun that expresses disapproval, disbelief, or irritation. Okay, that makes sense. The young lady of the house. She'll have been listening to us. Ruth, come and greet our guest. There is a short pause, then the door creaks open. Two wide eyes peer at you from the gap, between tousled hair and a rough nightgown. What do you say? The eyes blink. Pleased to meet you. Now go back to bed. The door closes again. My daughter Ruth, 10 years this summer. She's a delight and a torment all in one. Don't worry, she sleeps in with me. She'll not disturb you. Good night now. You retire to your room. It is a little chilly, but you are too tired to worry about lighting the fire. The sheets are clean and the bed soon warms up. The silence outside is strange after living in town for so long, but you soon drop off. Go to 154. You dream of fire in the grate. Coruscating colors shimmering through the dancing tongues of flame. At first they are tiny, almost microscopic, but they grow and grow until a kaleidoscope inferno spills from the fireplace, spreading across the floor, up the sheets. You wake with a start. Daylight glints through the curtains. You get up and examine the grate, blinking the sleep from your eyes. It is quite cold. If you have taken any damage, you may heal 1 point back for your night's sleep. I haven't taken any damage, probably because I passed my dexterity check. Go to 166. May seems to have no running water, but has supplied some in a ceramic jug. You freshen up at the wash stand and go in. She cooks a hearty breakfast and leaves you in peace to eat. At about 7:30, you are paid up, packed, and ready to go. You bid May goodbye, and she wishes you the best for your new career in Arkham. If you succeeded at a skill roll last night and wish to investigate the results further, go to 178. Otherwise, go to 192. Well, I passed my charm, so yeah, let's see if May's got anything else to say. Let's go to 178. You retrace your steps of last night. A few villagers watch with polite curiosity as you thread your way along the northern cliffs, bags in tow. In time, you think you have found the spot. Heart thudding in your chest, you peer over the edge. You know what? That's not what I think I would have done, so I'm going to go back. I wanted to talk with May, so I'm going to go to 192. You are already tired of your heavy bags. Hopefully Silas has repaired the motor coach and you can resume your long journey. A sourpuss he might be, but the old driver seemed to understand his vehicle well enough. You pause to check your watch, still 20 minutes early, and round the final corner. The motor coach is gone. I knew it. You put your bags down and search the area. trekking up and down slopes and around corners. At the edge of the village, you trace the long road back as it winds across the hills. 8 o'clock comes and goes. There is no coach to be seen. A passing villager notices your bags. Looking for the bus? I heard him take off at first light. He's due back in 3 or 4 days. If you need a place to stay, May Ledbetter rents a room. The man raises his hat to you and strolls on into the village. You curse Silas under your breath. Perhaps he went for parts, but you wonder if the old goat has stranded you here on purpose. I wonder if I didn't confront him. Probably not, but that frustrates me in a good way. All right, go to 218. May is doing laundry and looks surprised to see you again. Forgot something? When you explain the situation, she offers to store your bags while you try to arrange alternative transport. You are grateful to relinquish the load. Nobody here has anything like a car. She strokes her chin and narrows her eyes. Maybe you could find somebody with a horse and a cart for your bags. I could ask around later. Try Mr. Winters at the village hall. He'll know if anyone will. Or ask among the artisans. Their workshops are first left on Silbury Street. She reaches over and squeezes your wrist. Don't worry. I won't see you sleeping in the street, money or no money. You thank May and turn to face the village. Go to 6. Oh, I think this is May Ledbetter. It is not quite who I had expected, and I may have used my charm a little differently, we'll say. Go to page 6, or paragraph 6. Here we go. You wander the streets of Emberhead without any particular destination in mind. The village is built on a relatively flat upland with splendid views. To the north, the hazy tips of the White Mountains reach for the heavens. To the south, the sparkling waters of Lake Winnipesaukee touch the horizon. The village itself takes less than 5 minutes to cross from edge to edge. You arrive on the winding road to the west. The only other road leads to the south, following a lower ridge of land as it turns east. In the southwest of the village, an open, grassy space borders a ruined church, its graveyard cresting the cliffs. To the northeast, the 3 main thoroughfares meet at a raised black metal structure. It looms stark against the blue sky. That's a lot of locations to remember. You may now ask about transport at the local general store, seek out the village hall, walk down to the lower level and check out the eastern road, examine the large metal structure, explore the church, look for local people with their own transport needs. I would go to the general store. Go to 16. The general store is on the corner beside the main road, just before it plunges to the south. The shopkeeper is a brisk, immense lady with a starched apron and strong shoulders. She looks hard at your unfamiliar face. Transport? There's a motor coach comes through twice a week. Missed it? Truck brings in my supplies every second Tuesday, but he's not due until next week. She shrugs. It seems Emberhead is content to keep its distance from the outside world. You have enough money to buy 1 or 2 inexpensive everyday items here. Note them down on your investigator sheet. Remember the year is 1927. The shop stocks no weapons except a dusty hunting knife, which you may purchase if you want. Then go to 25. 1927. Well, let's get gear and possessions. Let's get a cola and a chocolate bar. Maybe Cthulhu wants... Maybe he's hungry. Wants a little sugary snack. 25. You begin to get your bearings in Emberhead. Would you like to explore some more? Do not repeat a previous choice. Okay, let's go to the church, where the cult lives. You cross the street towards the church. As you glance to your left, your gaze alights on the large metal structure. Something bothers you about its positioning. You back up and look again. Yes, Emberhead's central thoroughfare points directly at the structure. This seems too precise to be a coincidence. You press on and draw into the shadow of the church. The building is in a sorry state. The top of the steeple is missing, a ragged gash of splintered boards marking its absence, and the floors beneath it have collapsed. It appears to have torn through the roof of the main building as it fell. Only the back half is still intact. The white paint which once covered the church has yellowed and peeled. It seems safe enough to explore the rear section. Old pews are stacked against the wall, choked with mildew. Most of the windows are broken. You guess this church has been disused for about 20 years. There is little more interest to you. Small town, you'd think they've got, a nice church. That's like their one thing to do in town. It says, make a ride roll. You may have a bonus die. Roll the tens percentile die twice and take the lower result. If you succeed, go to 46. Otherwise, 25. Okay, well, let's go off on a side tangent here. Let's check out introductory rules. And I want to look up ride. Because why am I rolling ride? The art on this was pretty awesome. I was going to skip past it, but I don't even know what that is, but that's awesome. Oh, there's a chart here for halves and fifths. Jeez, look at... People don't have to use their brains. Okay, combat, sanity, game system... Skill descriptions, ride. Here we go. Ride applies to saddle horses, donkeys, and mules, granting knowledge of basic care of the riding animal, riding gear, and how to handle the steed at a gallop or on difficult terrain. Should a steed unexpectedly rear or stumble, the rider's chance of remaining mounted equals their ride skill. All right, as I thought. What am I riding right now? Nothing. All right, but my ride is pretty low, I think. 5%. Okay, so I get to roll with advantage. The tens I get to roll twice. 87. Oh, no, 70. Oh, 87. Okay, yeah, so, well, the highest I can roll is... Well, I have to get under 5, so it's impossible. 18. Yeah, so fail. Should have taken those riding lessons. Go to 25. If you succeed, go to 46. Others go to 25. I hope I get run over and I die. 25. You are beginning to get your bearings in Emberhood. What would you like to explore? Okay. Well, they keep bringing up the metal building, but I mean, it doesn't sound very appealing, so that's, can't be my top option. So we're going to go to 96 and see if there's anybody else. It says, look for local people with their own transport needs. Go to 96. 96. Not far from the Ledbetter House on the north side of Silbury Street, there is an open courtyard. The rhythmic tattoo of a hammer seems to announce your approach. The courtyard is the busiest location you have yet seen in Emberhead. It is bordered by a ring of workshops. Some are brick buildings, some only rough huts. A blacksmith ceases to hammer, thrusting something red and glowing into a bucket of cold water. A weaver looks up from his loom, blinking at you for a moment before returning to his shuttle. A potter, engraver, and carpenter each work in their own space, exchanging friendly banter. You move among the artisans, chatting about their work. Eventually, you bring up the question of export. Some of them send occasional packages with Silas. Some restrict their custom entirely to villagers. You receive no suggestions on alternative transport. I kind of feel like I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or just like classic 70s horror in the South, like little dueling banjos or dun 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 dun. Like, who's this guy showing up? Make a psychology roll. If you exceed, go to 106. Well, I did take a little psychology. So let's roll 63. That is a fail. Otherwise, go to 25. Man, okay, I'm running out of options here. So we asked the general store. Once you have tried 4 options, go to 3. Okay, so I did general store, the church, local transport. So let's check out the village hall. Let's go to 84. The village hall backs against the cliff at the east end of Silsbury Street. It's the largest building you've seen so far in Emberhead. It is, however, locked and shuttered. You walk around it, peering through gaps in the shutters. There seems to be one large room, presumably for community meetings, and a smaller annex that serves as an office and archive. One of the windows is bricked up. Back at the main door, you can see no posted opening hours. Mr. Winters doesn't open up mornings this time of year, says a gray-garbed woman passing by. Best come back this afternoon. You ask whether the office has a telegraph. Don't know, she shrugs. Who would we call? You will have to try again later. Go back to 25. Okay, I have tried 4. Go to 3. I feel like I kind of actually look like this guy. Maybe this is kind of what I was thinking, but it's kind of like an older adult Daniel Radcliffe. Kind of look like that. Go to... oh, shoot. What was it? 3 or 4? Okay, I already did 4, so it has to be 3. Okay. Your morning excursions have left you hungry. You roam the streets of Emberhead looking for sustenance. There is nothing resembling the busy cafes of your hometown or anything that might be called a restaurant. I have a chocolate bar. It is beginning to look like you will have to get supplies from the general store when May Ledbetter comes down the street with a girl trailing in her wake. This must be Ruth. As she notices you, she paces past her mother and approaches you with a smile. This is a different Ruth from the shy creature of last night. As she reaches you, she stops and stretches her arms up in celebration. She looks up into your eyes. Abruptly, the smile drops from her face, and she looks several years older. Get out before the festival, she hisses. Get out. She blinks hard, then scuttles back towards her mother. May approaches, wrapping on her arm around her daughter's shoulders. She smiles. How are you getting on? Have you found transport? Startled, you explain the frustration of the situation. I'd try Mr. Winters in the village hall. He's always in of an afternoon. You'll be hungry by now. Help yourself to any food in the house. The door is not locked. You glance at Ruth, where she has squirreled herself behind her mother's leg. Her eyes implore you to silence. Ooh, getting scary. If you ask Ruth what she said, go to 9. If you ask May about Ruth said, go to 15. If you say nothing, go to 22. I'm gonna ask May about what Ruth said. You ask May why Ruth wants you to leave town. She gives her daughter a hard stare. Ruth looks at the ground. May says, Ruth doesn't like it when we have guests in the house, but she needs to learn that we don't always get what we want in life. Sometimes we have to do things we might not best like, but they're necessary all the same. May shakes her head at you and then nods back in the direction of the house. You catch a hint of emotion in those green eyes. Go to 22. Okay. Interesting. You take your leave of the Ledbetters and head towards their house. The door opens easily. In the low kitchen, you make a meal from stodgy bread and leftover stew. A little window offers a view to the mountains. If you've learned one thing this morning, it was that Emberhead's streets hold little to occupy the visitor from out of town. But there are still about 5 hours of daylight remaining. You could take some provisions and the bare essentials from your luggage and set out in the hope of reaching another settlement before dark. Or you could take advice from Mrs. Winters. Or you could ask advice from Mrs. Winters. Okay. If you prepare and walk out of town, go to 28. If you head to the village hall, go to 11. Yeah, I'll go to 11. Come back this afternoon. That's what I think Mrs. Winters said. 11. The village hall overlooks the lower north ridge of the village. You walk along Salisbury Street to find it, conscious of the oppressive black metal structure framed at the end of the road. The shutters of the hall are open and some windows left ajar. There is no knocker, but a little bell over the entrance tinkles as you push the front door. Inside, a sturdy door to the right is marked private. To your left, an opening leads through to a bright room. You take a few steps inside. Benches line the walls, and there are 2 notice boards mounted between the windows. To examine the notice boards, go to 17. To knock on the closed door, go to 24. I want to... still scared about the little girl. I want to get out of here. The notice board isn't going to tell me anything that this person can't tell me. So I'll go to 24. You raise your hand to knock on the door, but it opens before you can complete the movement. The middle-aged gentleman behind it takes an involuntary step back, adjusting his spectacles. You hasten to apologize and introduce yourself. He steadies himself and peers at you. I see. I'm Clyde Winters. Just visiting, you say? And you've come to see me? Care for some coffee? I usually take a cup around this time of the afternoon. His invitation seems genuine enough and a good opportunity to ask any questions that are on your mind. Go to 43. You step through the door marked private. The other side of the village hall is in marked contrast to the public space. The room is compact, lined with shelves of books and file alcoves. One corner is reserved for a tiny pantry and what is presumably a water closet. You study Mr. Winters as he fills the percolator. Although thin on top, his hair is oiled and neatly swept back. His suit is a sober affair and well tailored, even if the cut is a little old-fashioned. A lesser man working alone might have loosened his bow tie for comfort. On the desk against the opposite wall, you notice what looks like a telegraph set. Two options. To ask about the telegraph, immediately go to 56. To make small talk with Mr. Winters, first go to 49. Well, I want to get out of here as fast as possible, so I'm going to go 56. The telegraph? Much as we value our isolation, we do need the link sometimes. You were hoping to send a message? I must apologize. The line has been down for 2 weeks. I reported the fault, but of course they're not so speedy with the problem when the problem lies in a rural area. I'm expecting a repair the day after next. I do appreciate how frustrating this must be. The coach is due in 3 days? But I think he's going west. Perhaps you might engage a wagon? One of the farmers might. You explain that you have asked a few of the residents already, but to no avail. I tell you what. Winters pours you a steaming cup of coffee. The dark liquid smells rich and strong. When the repair crew arrives, I'll ask them to take you back with them. How would that be? They might want $1 or $2 to grease the wheels. The day after tomorrow, it's less than ideal, but it's the first real opportunity you've had. To thank Mr. Winters and leave, go to 180. To ask about his library, go to 62. Well, I do have a pretty good library skill, so I probably would be interested in that. And I have nothing else going on, so sure, 62. You make a small but flattering remark about a couple of the volumes on his shelf. Winters blushes with pleasure. Well, of course, they're not my personal collection. They belong to the village, he says. But I did select most of the recent items. This is the community's library, you see. I put up the private sign to stop people just wandering in from meetings in the other room. But this is really a public space. You scan the shelves. There is a sparse but respectable collection on mathematics and the sciences, passable sections on history and arts, and a shelf of literature. He has a few lowbrow novels tucked away in a corner with tatty copies of Bizarre Tales magazine. Quality does not always equate to popularity, I'm afraid. Winter gives you an apologetic smile. To take the time for some research in the library, go to 68. To leave while it's still light outside, go to 180. Again, I got nothing else to do here. Library is one of my skills, so I would be curious by this. Mr. Winters seems nice. He can walk me back, escort me, I'm sure. So, 68. Winters is happy for you to spend the rest of the afternoon in study and offers you an upright but comfortable chair. You have enough time to pursue one line of research in depth. To read about the history of the area, go to 74. To read about the festival, go to 81. To read something from the sciences, go to 88. Fiction, 94. Well, let's do the festival because that's what the kid Ruth talked about. You know what? Let's go 74. Let's see what else is in the area. There is no single book on the history of the area, and you have to put together a picture from a variety of slim, specialized volumes. There seems some suggestion that the hill upon which Emberhead is built was a place of reverence for the Abenaki or Abenaki, a native tribe whose name means people of the Dawn Lands. The tribe made an annual journey to the hill as the leaves turned the deepest hue of sunset. There are some references to sun rituals performed in the area, but these are not convincingly attributed. The region was caught up in King George's War in 1746. British colonial forces counterattacked in response to a raid by the Wabanaki Confederacy, which included the Abenaki. The king's men gave no quarter, and the few survivors among the natives were driven from the area permanently. There seems no confirmed date when Emberhead itself was founded, although there are accounts of settlers on the hill from shortly after the end of the Revolutionary War. Interesting. Go to 99. This video might have to be a multi-parter. We'll see here. 99. The afternoon wears on. You have not quite finished your reading when Winters glances out of the window and stands up. He clears his throat. Make a credit rating. All right, I want to go back because I don't know what credit is. Credit rating. I'm going to assume it's like your honesty, your credibility. A character's credit rating is an indicator of their wealth and class. The more points spent on credit rating, the richer the character is. Depending on how many occupation skill points you allocate to this skill, your investigator is... Let's see, mine is what? Credit is 30. So I am average, a reasonable level of comfort. Okay, got it. So, make a credit roll. Blue is 10s, credit is 30. So, zeros are zeros. So, 10, right? Or, oh yes, I always forget. If it was all zeros, then it would be 100. That's what it is. Okay, so 1. 10s and 1s. Yeah. All right, 1. Wow. That is literally the lowest, right? You can't get 0. It's 1 to 100. Was I critical? Is that a crit? I don't know. Okay. Afternoon wears on. Clears his throat. Make a credit rating. If you succeed, go to 111. I succeeded. I'm happy to leave you in charge for a half hour or so, he smiles. Please don't issue any books without a valid library card. You thank Winters for his trust and continue with your reading for a time. As the light dims, you find yourself yawning in the closeness of the room. Perhaps it is time for a change of material. Make a spot hidden roll. Okay, well, what is spot hidden? Do I find a hidden spot? Find a secret door or compartment. Nice. Okay. I want to get this. Spot hidden. I don't think I have anything. 25%. Okay. Blue is 10s. 20. Sweet. Okay, so I succeed. Go to 118. It makes me happy. As you scan the shelves, you try to move aside one of the 3 volumes of Walpole's A Comprehensive Grammar of the Andine Peoples. It will not shift, and upon further inspection, you find the 3 volumes are actually glued together and attached to the wall. Is this some kind of unobtrusive way to reinforce the shelves? You hear footsteps in the hall, and on instinct, move away from this curious discovery. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. You may check mark the small box beside spot hidden. Okay. Now go to 124. Footsteps coming. The door opens and Winters re-enters the library. He wears a small, satisfied smile. His gaze shifts to you where you stand at the shelves. Exhausted our stock already? Of course we accept donations, he chuckles. I'm afraid it's closing time. You leave the building with Winters and wait as he locks up. You thank him for the coffee and access to the library. He strolls down Salisbury Street. Go to 180. What did he leave for? He saw something. He cleared his throat. As the light fades, you return to the Ledbetter house and eat a light supper. May is unusually taciturn. Taciturn. Ruth's eyes flick to yours several times during the meal. There is an urgency there you cannot quite interpret. Afterwards, May ushers the girl into their room. You have been in Emberhead for barely one whole day, and you already feel confined by it, both geographically and socially. The evening seems to offer little. To do some stargazing, go to 131. To attempt to speak to Ruth, go to 138. If you have a previous appointment, this is the time to follow it up. Well, I don't want to go outside, and I don't really want to talk to Ruth. So, this is the first time. If I can go inside and stargaze, then I'll be happy. Otherwise, this is the first, maybe second time where it's like, well, I don't really get to do what my character would want to do. So, we'll see. 131. Yeah, see, I don't want to go outside here, but I would rather do this than talk to Ruth. So, you stroll the streets of Emberhead. Already it feels like you know every corner, every doorstep. There are simply not that many of them. When you emerge into an open space, the star field above you is arresting. The streetlights of your hometown always interfered with the view, even on a clear night. But here in this lofty blackness, a multitude of tiny diamonds shimmer between the more familiar stars. The spectacle occupies you for a few minutes. Upon returning your gaze to Earth, you notice a dark figure pressed behind a house. A loose stone skitters behind you. A second figure stares from an alleyway. To retreat to the safety of the Ledbetter house, go to 157, or to confront the figures. Yep, I am gonna run away. The familiar surroundings of your guest room are becoming constrictive. The neat bed, small wardrobe, and dressing mirror have the feel of a prison cell about them. What are you still doing here in Emberhead? Your new life is elsewhere. Pause. Some mechanic that I know from Mothership very well is panic, and I don't necessarily feel things have happened for my character to be panicking, but maybe that's like Cthulhu mythos, Cthulhu magic, Cthulhu energy that I'm just not aware about in this game system weighing on my character right now. So, just kind of what I'm thinking. All right, here we go. You lie on the bed and stare at a small crack in the ceiling. You turn over the day's events, thinking through the little details you spotted. You are certainly wary from the elevation and fresh air, but do you still feel safe here? If you let yourself fall asleep, go to 224. If you stay awake, go to 230. I'm going to try and fall asleep. 224. Your eyelids are heavy, and whatever your reservations, blackness soon takes you. You dream again of fire in the grate, a small theater of lights twinkling in a tiny drama. The flames seem to consume nothing, almost to hang in the air. A moment later, they are around your sleeping form, filling the room with flickering colors. Blue, yellow, red, purple. They dance on and around you. The little tongues brush your flesh. Go to 26. You drift awake in the morning light. The sun is already high, but you do not feel well rested. You find yourself preoccupied with little details in the room. The wood grain of the door jamb, or a chipped handle on the wardrobe. As you swing out of bed, your stomach gives you a lurch and you lean too far over, nearly tumbling to the floor. You blink for a moment. Perhaps you have an illness coming on. You get carefully to your feet. The air in the room is heavy and fragrant. You stare out of the window until you feel steady enough to leave. Your skill rolls today suffer a penalty. Roll the tens percentage die twice and take the higher result. This does not apply to luck, sanity, or damage rolls. Go to 64. So I woke up feeling like garbage. All right. That's stew, huh? 64. The Leadbetter kitchen is empty, although bread and eggs have been laid out for your breakfast. There is a note from May explaining that she has taken Ruth out for a few hours. If you were involved in a fight in the village last night and want to investigate the aftermath, go to 70. Otherwise, go to 78. I was not in a fight. You make a quiet circuit of the village, pausing in unobtrusive places to watch the villagers. It is rather busy for this time in the morning. Yawning locals stream back and forward along the roads, carrying bundles of split logs to the site of what you've heard referred to as the beacon. You see two figures already up in its superstructure, arranging the wood. The excuse me. The festival bonfire will be most impressive, but do you intend to stay to see it? You seem suspect by now that something is amiss here. While the villagers are distracted, you may do some illicit investigations, or you may simply leave town without looking back. I'm going to actually pause this here, and then I'll come back. There's some choices here, and yeah, I'll be right back. All right, I wanted to just go back and like double check, like how did I know about the beacon and the structure and the festival? This paragraph was kind of like, hey, I don't really care what you've been doing, but here's what's been going on. Whether you noticed it or not, here's what's been going on. So, um, little disappointed in this paragraph, but just like, hey, you've done enough. Now let's advance the story. So that's just me. Okay, but now I have options. I can do, what did it say? Some illicit investigation. So let's see if anything here plays to my strengths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. I may now search May Ledbetter's bedroom. I may go alone to the village hall. I may take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard. I may spy on activity at the beacon. Or I can slip down to the east road and flee for good. Okay. Search May Ledbetter's room. Looking at my skills and knowing my character. What am I good at? Not really good at. Sneaking and investigating those things. Go alone to the village hall. Sure, that's an option. Take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard. Sure, that's an option. Spy and activity in the beacon. This is kind of what I want to do. But I have no, like, that doesn't play to my skill set. Or slip down to the east road and flee for good. I'm starting to feel the pressure, but I just have to make it. It was the day after tomorrow, right? So I already slept. So tomorrow I'm gone, right? Which is probably why this paragraph, now that I think about it, this paragraph is like, hey, let's get the story going. Because I was told that a ride that the, not the phone, but the boop, boop, beep, boop, Morse code place is, people are coming tomorrow, and then I could leave with them. Okay, so if I know that, I want to go back. My goal, if I'm lucky, I want to go back to the village hall and check out those 3 books that were glued together. I can always, if this were like a real role-playing game, I could plead my case that, hey, like I'm an academic. I want to go back and study the books. Mr. Winters said that it's open to everybody. So that makes sense with what I'd want to do. So let's go to 126. Keeping away from the streets, you skirt the northern cliffs and approach the village hall from the rear. It is close to the beacon, which I just learned about. It is close to the beacon, and you will not be able to use the door unobserved. You check the windows. The one on the east side facing the beacon is bricked up. A shutter is loose on the westernmost window, and you are able to ease it open and slide it inside, closing the shutter behind you. You drop into the village meeting room and pad through, passing through dim shafts of light and listening to the excited chatter of the locals from outside. The door opposite reads private. Hearing nothing from the other side, you turn the handle. All right. 133. The room is lined with books. In the corner is a small water closet and a pantry. A quick survey of the rest of the room reveals little, so you turn to the bookcase. The dim light makes it difficult to read the spines. Is there anything useful here? Make a spot hidden roll. If you have examined the book before, you may have a bonus die. See. Okay. If you succeed. Okay, so I did, and I noticed that the books are off. So my spot hidden, I think, is 25. And I get to re-roll the 10s, which is the blue one. Sweet. 3. All right. 0, 0, 3. Awesome. Okay. So if I succeed, go to page 147. I'm doing actually really good rolling, I think. 140, right? If you succeed, 147. Okay. You're looking along the spines when you notice how close the bookcase is to the window on the north wall. From the outside, actually, I'm going to use this map here. See if I can get it not glary. So the village hall is here. If you're watching, what I'm doing doesn't really matter if you're just listening. The village hall is here. Okay, so here's the beacon. Let's see. East Road, the approach, Salisbury Street, workshops, West Road. Where have I been staying? Does it tell me? General store. Didn't know there was a school. Ledbetter Roaming House is up in the northwest corner. And, okay, so I went from here. He said that they were going to see me, but I snuck around, I think. East Road. Okay. All right. Just get my bearings here. Now that is here. From outside, there is a solid 3 or 4 feet between the edge of the window and the wall. And the bookcase covers the wall with a bricked up window. I'm going to read that again. Start over. You're looking along the spines when you notice how close the bookcase is to the window on the north wall. From outside, there is a solid 3 or 4 feet between the edge of the window and the wall. And the bookcase covers the wall with the bricked up window. Further examination reveals an ingenious arrangement of slipcases physically attached to the shelves. When you pull to the left, an entire section of the bookcase swings out. The clatter of activity around the beacon seems to be building, and you flinch at every conversation that gets too close to the building's door. Okay, I don't really understand how that all works, but I know that I found something. I opened up the bookcase. To investigate behind the bookcase, go to 153. To close it and make your escape while you can, go to 120. Well, I did sneak in here, so I don't want to get caught. So 153. You squint into the darkness behind the bookcase. It is a small alcove, big enough for one person, and has a hidden shelf on either side. You cannot make out any titles in this light. To risk opening one of the cliff side windows a little, go to 165. To grab a few books and leave, go to 159. Ooh. It's going to be just as dangerous to leave out of here as this probably is. So I'm going to go 165. Stay here for a bit. Enough light spills into the room for you to make out the titles. The contents of the alcove are quite different from the wider library. The books are much older. Some are handwritten, and many are in strange scripts you do not recognize. You could spend a week in here just browsing through the bizarre volumes. Make a library use roll. Well, that's right. That's one of my jobs. So 60 I'm at. If you do them, get 60. So, oh yes. Seriously? 1 again? I got 1 again. That's amazing. I mean, the roll is on camera, so that's crazy. That's crazy. If you succeed, go to 177, which I do. Wild. Okay, 177. of the texts are too obscure for you to understand without an extended residency in a good library. You are drawn to a volume in a heavy slipcase embossed with a dark red triangle. Its pages are in a spidery script, but the hand is neat enough that you can read it with effort. It seems to be one of a set of 7 discussing elements. Here, sulfur, mercury, and salt are added to the 4 classical elements. This book concerns fire. Flicking through the pages, you see astronomical diagrams, alchemical symbols, references to Dante, awesome, and speculations on the nature of damnation. Towards the end, there is a discussion of fire ceremonies and a transcription of 2 key rituals. Call ye celestial flames and command ye celestial flames. Read that again. Towards the end, there is a discussion of fire ceremonies and a transcription of 2 rituals. Call ye celestial flames. Call ye and command ye celestial flames. You might be able to memorize one, but it will take time. Is this all nonsense, or is it worth risking discovery for? You may check a small box behind library use. Okay. Check. To memorize Call Ye Celestial Flames, go to 197. To memorize Command Ye Celestial Flames, go to 202. If you feel you have already pushed your luck enough, replace the volume and leave. I'm a scholar, so I am going to press my luck, and I'm going to memorize Command Ye Celestial Flames. Probably in the moment, I wouldn't be able to think of this, but kind of realizing my character should be realizing that this beacon, and they're putting wood on there, and we have this fire, right? Flames we're talking about. They're going to call some fire beast, but let's see if I can control it, right? That would be amazing. That would truly be amazing. Okay. Let's go to command. So that's 202. You tried to commit the wording of Command Ye Celestial Flames to memory. The text is full of strange characters, and you can only make a best guess as to their pronunciation. The full chant will take 20 seconds or so. The commentary offers some advice. Turn ye not your eye from the fire, though it dost water from the heat, and commit your heart and mind in full to the path which ye intend to walk, lest ye falter at the trial. You have discovered a secret. If the situation seems right for it, the text may offer you the option to chant. At that point, if you want to try this ritual, add 50 to your current entry number and go to that new entry. Let me read that again. You have discovered a secret. If the situation seems right for it, the text may offer you the option to chant. At that point, if you want to try this ritual, add 50 to your current entry number. Well, I don't know what entry number is. It must mean stat, but okay. If the situation seems right for it, the text offers... Pause, time out. Let's see if there's a better wording for a secret here. Combat, fighting maneuvers, firearms, close combat. Sanity, game system. Pros roll bonus penalty die, luck rolls, levels of success. Backstory, final touches, skill descriptions. Let's see, was secret in there? I just skipped over it. No, I don't think so. Occupation and skills, damage bonus, sanity points. All right, I don't really know what that means, so something I complain about a lot is in game systems. Don't tell me to do something before you describe what that something is. So I don't see a mechanic in there for how secrets work. I could Google it, of course, but I don't want to. Let's test this out and see if it really matters. Okay, go to 207, and I have to remember that I had command. So that should be easy to remember. 207. Tempting as it is to remove the book, it is too large to conceal. You slip it back on the shelf and ease the bookcase back into place. Immediately, you hear the scratch of a key in the hall door. You sprint for the open window. Make a dex check. Okay, well, that's pretty bad for me. 60. Well, I guess that's not too bad, because it's not strength-based. Okay, gotta get less than 60. My dice rolls have been good, so... Oh my god. Are these dice weighted? That's a 5. That's insane. You can see I'm rolling. That's... Wow. Okay, that is insane. Literally. If you succeed, go to 213. With a burst of speed, you dart through the hall. As you hear the door open, you throw yourself through the open window. There is no time to cover your intrusion, but you think you weren't actually spotted. Go to 120. It's probably hard to see on camera. If you zoom in, I mean, my 10s are literally zeros. Go to 120. That's crazy. You feel a deepening unease about Emberhead and this day in particular. Once you have attempted 3 options below, go to 98. Otherwise, you may, okay? I like Magic the Gathering. It's a may ability, so I don't have to do these. Search Mayletter's bedroom. Go alone to the village hall. Okay, so I already did that. Take a closer look at the artisan's courtyard. Spy on activity at the beacon. Slip down to the east road and flee for good. Yeah, so there's some Dante devil stuff going on here. I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna go to... Oh no, wait, 7. I'm gonna slip down. I'm leaving town. Right? I've had enough. I'm gonna go to 7. Right? Is that what it was? Go to 7. Okay. Maybe I can't, and then I gotta come back and do something else. But I'm gonna try and leave. And then Ruth is there, little scary girl. As you approach the southern road that descends to the lower ridge, you see 4 villagers blocking the route with farm tools and clubs. You veer off and head towards the west road. Your heart sinks as you see exactly the same scene at the other exit from the village. You are trapped. To try to talk your way past one of the guard groups, go to 119. To try to slip past in disguise, go to 125. Or do you know another way to leave the village? Well, I like that, but then it doesn't, tell me what to do. To try to talk your way past one of the guard groups. Well, let's look at the skills here. There's got to be persuade. Yeah, persuade. Okay, that's only 10%. But disguise... Oh, disguise is 5%. That's bad. Well, once I talk to them, that's going to make myself known. But slip past in disguise. I mean, I don't know what I have for disguise. So Let's try and talk my way out of it, even though that's probably the worst idea, but that's probably what my character would do. The southern group appears less sharp than the western group. You stride up to them and explain they are needed at the beacon. They look dubious. You offer to watch the road for them and hold out your hand for a pitchfork. Nah, you come with us, says the first one. His ape-like brow bends into a frown. Yeah, exactly. I knew that was happening. Okay. Make an extreme fast talk. This is a roll equal to or less than 1/5 of your skill value. The number... Okay, fast talk. 5. So I have to... literally, I have to get a 1 again. Can I get 1 3 times? Alright, that is, like, brutal. Well, 14. I mean, that's... still not terrible. Okay, so I failed. I knew that was going to happen, right? I should have snuck around. There's nothing good that was going to come from talking to them. All right, go to 139. These locals are not as stupid as you think. They grab you and march you back into the center of the village. Go to 108. The fading light from a narrow window tells you afternoon is giving way to evening. Your hands are shackled behind your back, so you cannot even lie down on the rough bed. A woman you have not seen before comes in. Her face is wrinkled and her eyes dull. They do not meet yours, but she puts a cup to your lips. To accept the drink, go to 104. To reject it, go to 113. Well, I will, of course, reject it. You turn your face away, and when she tries again, you dash the cup from her hands using the side of your head. The clear liquid spills across the floor. The woman gives a half shrug and turns to leave the room. You shout after her, but she gives you no reaction. You soon become thirsty. Ooh. Go to 205. She was probably just like, oh, I'm going to ease your suffering here, and I just ruined it. As the light fades outside, your little prison becomes dark. You can hear much activity around the building. Occasionally, an orange glow passes the window. The only comfortable position in the shackles seems to be to sit against the end of the bed with your arms hanging behind you. You need to concentrate and come up with a plan. There is clearly no escape from your bonds. You do not know exactly what your captors want from you, but you cannot ignore the fact that they have spent the entire day constructing a massive bonfire. Go to 27. The door scrapes, wrenching you back into the moment. Orange light spills into the house from blazing torches held at the threshold. 2 large villagers step in and grab you. At least you assume they are villagers. They wear heavy black cloaks, and their faces and hands are painted entirely black, save only for a red triangle centered on their left eye. You try to drag your legs, but they reach under your arms and lift you bodily from the bed. Outside, it seems that the whole village has congregated to see you. Every single one has a blackened face with a red triangle motive. Torches sputter and spill fire. You struggle, but you can see physical resistance is hopeless. You are marched to the center street and turn to face the beacon. This is awesome. The procession is down. The approach is slow and formal, save when you sense weakness and yank at your captors. A chill touches you when you see 3 human shapes carried ahead of you, draped in red cloth. The beacon looms larger and larger, its dreadful silhouette a black triangle pointing to the stars. A low drone begins among the cloaked figures. Unbidden, the word mourners comes to mind. Smoke from their torches makes you cough. You feel heat on your face. As you reach the cleared area around the beacon, 3 dancers break from the pack. Young girls swinging balls of fire in spectacular arcs, drawing circles in the night air. One by one, they draw close to you and touch your forehead with sooty fingers. Each kisses you 3 times on the left cheek, right cheek, then forehead. Then they whisper in your ear. The smell of kerosene fills your nostrils. Make an app roll. All right, what is app? Appraise? Or... No, app is... Okay, app's a skill, and I have 80, so that's good. App is... Let me back it up. App is... Okay, let's go introductory rules. Appearance measures the physical appeal of your character. Oh, being good looking is going to save me? All right. Make an app roll. My app is 80. Come on, baby. Oh my god. 6. Another 0. That's I keep saying it's insane, but that's because that's what it is. Okay, I had a roll under 80, so my chances were high anyways, but like I think there's degrees of success, and that would be like insanely good. I don't know if there's criticals in Call of Cthulhu. I don't think I've rolled that, but okay. I succeeded, so I'm going to go to 10. Oh my god, you're too good looking to kill. Become our leader. Through your sacrifice, the village will be reborn, says the first dancer. You pass from earth to air for all our sakes, says the second. I've weakened the chains, says the third. Don't try to escape until the flames are high enough to hide you. You stare at the third dancer. In that inky visage, you clearly discern the frightened features of Ruth Ledbetter. Their dance weaves off and disappears behind the buildings. Go to 18. As you arrive beneath the beacon, 10 villagers close in on you. Working with surprising coordination, they immobilize you and lift you up the blackened iron stairs to the raised platform. You cannot help but shiver at the sight of the central framework, twisted from past blazes, and what you can now clearly see to be fastening points for the chain. None of the eyes meet yours as they lash you to the metal. The village sings now, something rhythmic and ancient, carved from odd syllables. A second group ascends to the beacon, carrying the 3 red-draped bodies. With reverence, they arrange their burdens in a triangle around your feet. Then they withdraw, leaving you alone with the dead, shin deep in a sea of kindling. Go to 33. It seems the entire village is gathered around the beacon to watch you burn. Behind the face paint, you recognize May Ledbetter, and yes, that is Silas, the coach driver, standing at her side. The audacity and scale of the deception staggers you. A man steps up on a dais, D-A-I-S, daze, and raises his hands with quiet authority. The frame of his spectacles obscure the red triangle on his face. Freaking Mr. Winters, I'm guessing. So we draw here together again on this night, as we do each year, and we give thanks to the one who will preserve the village against the fire of the void. You will be taken by the ones from above in our stead. Your death will bring life to our streets and bounty to our fields. It will safeguard our children and our elders alike for another year. We salute you. He bows his head. All around the beacon, bearers step forward and lift their torches to the edge of the raised platform. A ring of tiny flames flicker up around the perimeter. As they wink, the singing of the villagers drop into an unearthly rhythm. To throw all your remaining strength at the bonds, go to 44. To wait and see what happens goes to 40. All right. I'm actually going to pause it here because I want to make sure that the secret, that 50 secret thing, how that actually works, because it's going to come handy real quick. So I'll be back. Okay. Looked it up, and I went back and reread it, and it basically means if I'm ever at a point where they allow me to chant, then I can add 50 to whatever roll I have to make. Okay, so I'm not there yet. But now I forgot where I was at. Okay, 33. To throw all your remaining strength against the bonds, go to 44. I am not strong. That's like my weakest thing, so I guess I will wait to see what happens. I will do nothing before I do something, I guess. Okay, 40. The flames snake across the kindling, catching and rising. Smoke rises, and it becomes difficult to see the villagers. The three bodies surrounding you catch fire, blazing with sooty red flames. You begin to cough as the smoke enters your lungs and fight down the urge to panic. If you have learned... Oh, here we go. Perfect. Got it. If you have learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is the moment. Otherwise, go to 65. Okay. If you have learned a strange chant and wish to try it, this is the moment. Well, what if I try it? Okay, so let me go back. I found a digital copy of it. You won't see it, but it reads, you have discovered a secret. If the situation seems right for it, the text may offer you the option to chant. At that point, if you want to try this ritual, add 50 to your current entry number and go to that new entry. Oh, okay. Oh, entry number. Oh, okay. Not a skill. Okay, totally got it. Okay, so now I'm going to go to 90. Got it. Okay, so 40, so 90 is where I want to go. Got it. Reading. Reading explains, boys and girls. You clear your throat and begin the ritual you found in the strange book, pronouncing the strange syllables as best you can. You know the fire is slipping ever closer by the touch of heat on your face, yet you put your panic aside and concentrate on completing the chant. As you speak the weird words, you become aware that the song of the villagers has shifted and they too are chanting. An eerie tingling builds in your palms and temples. You are casting a spell. You commit up to 10 magic points to this. You may commit up to 10 magic points to this spell. If you have less than 10 magic points, you may spend hit points on top of your magic points, but not as many that you are reduced to 0 hit points. Decide how many points to commit. Okay, well, I mean, I have 10 magic points, so I'm going to use all 10 magic points. Go to 198. You sense, rather than see, stars descend from the sky above you. From your flaming tether, you reach out to command the stars. Every magic point you committed gives you a 10% chance to succeed. If you committed 6 magic points, you must make a 60% roll. Any roll of 96 to 0 is always a fail. If you succeed with command, ye celestial flames, go to 209. If you fail, go to 65. Okay, so any roll of 96 to 0, it should be all zeros, right? You can't see it, but it's 96-00. So that would be all zeros. Yeah. Okay. So I have a 4% chance of failing. And I have a 13. So I succeed. Awesome. 209. The stars are alive. From above they see you. The center of a conflagration. Wow. They see Emberhead spread out from the beacon, its small plateau facing a dark sky, and they hear the villagers begin the same chant you have just completed. Lose 1d3 sanity. If this drops you to 0 sanity, go to 220. Oh, okay. A d3. So that's 3 divided by cut in half, 1.5 rounded down, right? Let's see. 1 and 2 is 1. 3 and 4 must be 2. Okay, so I lose 2 sanity. Right. Well, I have 50, so only down to 48. If this drops you to 0, go to 220. To command the stars to depart, go to 225. To command the stars to free you, go to 243. To command the stars to incinerate the villagers, go to 231. Well, I guess I want to get freed, right? So 243. Okay, well, hang on. The stars are alive. From above they see you, the center of a conflagration. Conflagration. Wow. They see Emberhead spread out from the beacon, its small plateau facing a dark sky, and they hear the villagers begin the same chant. So they're summoning something from the stars. If I get the stars to depart, if I'm still chained up and the villagers are there, if they set me free, then I can at least move and maybe argue that the stars are on my side, not theirs. To command the stars to incinerate the villagers. I mean, that seems like the best option, but I don't want to destroy the little girl. Is that Ruth? Ruth? So let's say 243. Want him to free me. I saw that little girl under the mask, and maybe she'll be my undoing, but she tried to warn me. So, here we go. 243. If the stars respond to your command, dropping and converging on the beacon, you feel a moment of transcendent glory as your body is annihilated in white heat and light. You have burned to death in an otherworldly inferno. Would you like to try again? The end. So, sure, it freed me by killing me. That's awesome. I kind of want to go back and see what the other options were, but I'll save that for another day. All right. I did not succeed. I did not succeed at Alone Against the Flames. The flames got me good. Okay, well, let's do a quick reflection here. That was a great story. Well written. I like the choose your own adventure aspect. I imagine like a real choose your own adventure book. you can only read it so many times before you go through all the options. I remember as a kid, I don't know if they were my dad's or my brother's, it doesn't really matter, had a couple choose your own adventures, and so I read some, and they were definitely fun. Only once or twice did I feel like my character would have done something else that was not in the book. Let's see. In terms of learning the game, just sanity. I know sanity is a big part. It didn't really apply. I never got in a fight, so I never had to deal with combat rules. The very basics of skills, I'm familiar with that. So for me, totally makes sense. And I think if you are totally new to role-playing games, you might be pretty confused by it. And don't be like me. Go to the introductory rules and, use this handy chart that has the halves and the fifths. Or just, have a brain and be smart. Does this make me want to play Call of Cthulhu? Yes, it does. It certainly makes me want to play it. Does it make me want to run it? That is yet to be determined. I would certainly play or run one of the pre-made adventures in here, but I'd have to really reflect on the rules here, because I didn't really get into, combat. I wouldn't know how to run that. Sanity checks, I don't really know. So lots of unknowns because I didn't really get into a lot. So I guess if I had to give this a grade, I would give it a B-. It was certainly fun. I got whatever I paid for this, $25. Certainly got my money's worth out of the solo adventure. Plus all the other stuff you get on top of it. But and maybe I have to play it again to get in the combat encounter. Like, there were those shadowy figures that I ran away from. Maybe I should have fought them, or go back and choose that option. Great writing, great high quality. Yeah, I'm just rambling, I guess, but I go B-, and that's a respectable grade. Didn't knock my socks off. I'm not going to go tell everybody I know, hey, you got to go get the Call of Cthulhu starter set, but I was entertained. That was fun. It was a good story. I feel a little tricked there at the end, asking to be set free, and, oh, gotcha, you thought we were going to, let you go, but no. Get free is we're gonna incinerate you. So okay, there we go. I'm just blabbering. Thanks for coming along on my TTRPG journey. Keep being creative. See you in the next episode. Later.